Well,
yes, indeed.
we're approaching the second of the day.
About to tell the people about what's going on, about this justice initiative that we've embarked on, this great cause, justice for the wrongfully incarcerated. One of the most powerful things that I think I've done in my time as an adult, aside from making sure that I keep myself standing and keep myself being counted as far as what's going on out here in these streets, as far as them taking these black and brown babies from us.
And we've completed the 20-mile walk for the second day.
Yes, indeed.
We're about to have a program at the Riley Center?
Yes, Riley Youth Center.
The Kylie Youth Center. The Kylie Youth Center.
Folks want to come down and they want to come and join us. We're going to be here tonight talking about this in a nice youth forum at the Kylie Youth Center. Come on down. Come on through.
The NAACP is sponsoring this, right?
The NAACP is sponsoring it. You know what I'm saying? We fired up.
Can't take no more. Won't take no more.
Won't take no more.
Ain't gonna take no more. Ain't gonna be no more.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
You know?
So coming out.
Justice for the wrongfully incarcerated. Hashtag enough is enough. Follow us on social media. We out here in these streets. We making it happen.
That's right. And we've met some more dynamic and interesting people who have been wrongfully incarcerated for 16, 17 years. So please come on out, follow us, and get prepared for Albany. If you can come to Albany, if you can't come and participate in any of the walk or the demonstrations on the way, meet us in Albany. And what day again?
We're going to be there on Monday the 16th.
Albany.
Come up, meet us.
Albany.
Sunday night. You know what I'm saying? Break bread with us.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? On Monday the 16th, we ready to present our petitions. We ready to present the cause. We ready to change these laws.
That's right. Let me get your sign.
Like that.
And we have a brother over here, Jeff.
Here. You know, we right here in his hometown. You know, I mean, tell your story.
That's right.
No, indeed, Yusef. No, this is the city where I was originally falsely accused and ultimately wrongfully convicted out of a murder and rape, which I did not commit. I was 16 when I was arrested. I was wrongfully convicted based on prosecutorial misconduct and a coerced false confession, which was not videotaped. Ultimately, I was cleared after 16 years, having been in prison from age 17 to 32 through DNA testing, which not only proved my innocence, also identified the actual perpetrator. If my so-called confession would have been recorded, it would have been clear that I was coerced and I was threatened, and they gave me false promises. In addition, the prosecutor was able to engage in misconduct, knowing that he faced no sanctions. You know, to this day, he never paid anything for what he did. Meanwhile, I lost 16 years. So this city has a special significance to me because this is my hometown. This is the first advocacy anti-wrongful conviction event. I participated here in Peeksill. Tomorrow, the march will first go inside Peeksill High School, which again has a special significance to me because I was a student at Peeksill High School at the time I was originally arrested and ultimately wrongfully convicted.
And basically, do you want to tell anybody about anything they can do, or what is it that you would really like to see happen?
I would like everybody to contact their elected officials and tell them to to contact their senators and assemblymen and tell them that they want interrogations to be videotaped and that we absolutely have to have the Commission on Prosecutor Conduct passed. Every profession has accountability, even down to the level of a barber. Yet, prosecutors don't have any oversight. It's like they're above the law, and as a result of that, misconduct is rampant. It's leading to a lot of wrongful convictions.
And ruining people's lives, and not just their people's lives, but their families' lives.
When you send the wrong person to prison, you also send their friends, their family, and then in addition to that, it's a public safety issue because the actual perpetrator is free to strike again. So that's what happened in my case. The actual perpetrator killed a second victim right here in Peeksill, school teacher Pat Morrison, who is not only a school teacher but had 2 children. So it's public safety issue also. So this is about, in conclusion, this is about making the system more accurate. This is not anti-cop, anti-prosecutor. This is about making the system more accurate.
And that's also what happened in the case of the Central Park 5, because the perpetrator was left to rape and kill somebody, I believe, again.
Well, exactly. Well, that's why Yusef and I have a lot of solidarity because we were both, youth at the time we were wrongfully convicted. The actual perpetrator's committed more crimes, you know, and both, you know, and coerced false confessions were factors.
Right. And again, these are not cases of mistakes. They're not cases of where they had evidence that looked like it could have been. Nothing like that, correct?
No, absolutely not. No, you know, too many times when people, when a wrongful conviction is exposed with such, the phrase, well, it's just a few bad apples, or this is an isolated case. If that is the case, if it's isolated, why are there so many wrongful convictions? Why are there 10,000 new people wrongfully convicted each year, like the Wayne State University estimates? Why were 149 people exonerated last year, or 139 before that, or 91 in both of those years? So while I would feel a lot better if this was a good faith error, I mean, the bottom drops out of that when you think about the cops knew that they coerced me. They purposely didn't document witness interviews, which would have led to the proving of my innocence. They would, and just like, you know, in Yusef's case, you know, Manhattan District Attorney and announcing that dropping the charges cites the inconsistencies in the confessions, but that was known at the time of trial.
Exactly.
There was no new discovery. So I don't believe that in most situations it is a good faith error.
Perhaps we should use the term malicious prosecutions, because they're deliberate, they're malicious, they're criminal prosecutions.
If they do that, if you're supposed to be there, sworn to uphold the law, and you overstep the bounds of the law in order to get a conviction that you know is built on shaky ground, you need to be fired. You need to go to jail. You should not be protected by any kind of immunities that are for the people that are there who uphold the law, that are there for the people who are there to protect and serve, that are there for the judges who do their jobs. You know what I'm saying? One judge in particular I could name is Cut 'em Loose Bruce. Y'all know who he is. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling him by his nickname. But you know, when you think about judges who are there to weigh and balance cases and understand what's going on, the judge in my case had a nickname, and his nickname was Judge Galligan. Like Gilligan's Island, he sent so many people to Rikers Island that he had that nickname because that's how many people he was sending folks. He was sending them there, and in my case, he was handpicked. He was handpicked because they knew that he would turn a blind eye to justice.
And one thing I just want to encourage people, because my battery is about to die out on this, but it's important for people to come out and to get involved, because you will never get the truth about what's going on from the papers. I learned the truth about the Central Park 5 case when I came out and got involved, because I made the mistake of believing the papers, and we have to understand the mainstream media. They're some of the biggest perpetrators and the biggest reasons why all these false convictions and wrongful convictions are able to happen, because they side with the prosecutors, they refuse to tell the truth, and they are every bit a part of what is wrong with this system. And the Daily News, the New York Post, especially in the case of the Central Park jogger, and I can't forget nor ignore how I trusted them, and it was the biggest mistake I ever made. So it's important to get involved, because you will get the truth like you've never heard it before, because you've never heard it if you're listening to the mainstream media.
I want to add, you know, a lot of times the media can set the stage for wrongful conviction. Every time I made a court appearance is a big media moment with virtually all the coverage, you know, from a guilt presumptive oriented perspective. So that could influence the jury pool, and that could even sway the judges.
Right, and the community against you. That's what happened in your case too, right?
In all of our cases.
Yeah.
That's the way that they are allowed to convict. Because see, the community is the one that the peer group comes from. So when they say that you're being judged by a community of your peers, you know, I mean, hey, I'm sure Jeff would have loved to be able to look on the jury pool and see some real friends, you know. But if the community are the ones that are reading these false stories, they're building their assumptions off of what they're going to do in these cases based off of what they see and hear, and they're not receiving the truth at all.
I want to take a brief second just to, you know, recognize for the people that are still inside.
I was about to
Maria Velasquez.
Exactly.
On behalf of her son, J.J. Velasquez, put above the sign so everyone can see. Currently still wrongfully imprisoned now in a case out of Manhattan. Several witnesses have recanted. Actual perpetrators confessed to several civilian witnesses. Manhattan DA office still fights the conviction. Declined to overturn it. He's still in prison right now. Was 18 years old? Going on 19 years in. Just one example of many people still in wrongfully. That's much easier.
Exactly. Maria, do you want to tell us about the documentary that you said they did on your son, because that way maybe people can Google it and can look for it? What is?
Okay, Dan Sluffy from NBC Dateline. He's the producer of
my son's documentary, Conviction. You can watch it on MSNBC. Conviction by Dateline.
And when was that produced?
That was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yes.
Waiting on a court decision right now, just simply to get a hearing, to present the new evidence. Could you imagine the Manhattan DA's office, right? Cyrus Vance claiming to have a conviction integrity unit that proactively investigates legitimate wrongful conviction cases with the idea of correcting them rather than just blindly fighting, as is normally the course of the day, will not agree to a hearing just to present this new evidence. Won't even agree to a hearing. That itself is what's being litigated right now. Not even the merits of his evidence. That's how bad the system is.
Yep, a lot of times it's technical things to the judges, regardless of whether the person can be proven innocent or at least not guilty. It's a technical issue. They're just not going to let it happen.
Too many times it's proceduralism.
Right.
It's not substantive justice. Did you file on time? Are you a couple days late? It's not, are you guilty? Are you innocent? Are the facts on your side? Is the law on your side in this situation? A lot of times, whether or not the judge is willing to be objective has to do with whether you're going to receive justice or not.
And the only reason that I believe that we're even having more convictions overturned, I just went out, is because of the people. But we got a lot of good stuff.